glaze, and the top one is 54, which is that kind of nice sort of creamy colour. But what Mako did was they brought out this range of glazes that have a speckle in, so that you can do projects like this. Really, it just gives it an extra dimension. So when you're painting with these, we still do 3 coats. We will dip glaze these, because I'm going to ask you, I painted the bottom, but because there will be potentially 15, when the other people do theirs, 15 mugs coming back into the studio that are very, very similar. If we can leave this section clear, then it means that you can either write your name on in biro today, or do a signature or a little smiley face or whatever you want on there that I then know is yours. I'll go over it and we'll fire them, and that means that you'll definitely get your mug back, if that's okay. But yes, so they are dipped as normal, and then they're completely food safe, dishwasher safe. Obviously can't go in the microwave, same as all of our other pieces. So yeah, that's basically a bit about the glazes. So we can just get going. The idea is, it's called a mountain mug. Now, I like to think it's waves at the beach, because to me, it's the deeper water here and it's kind of coming in. But it's supposed to be mountains. So looking in the distance and you've got your mountains there. So you should all have a Bic biro. These are the ones that definitely burn off in the kiln. So please don't use pencil. That would be our biggest kind of worry. But yes, Bic biro. And what we're going to do first is just draw our wavy lines on. Now, I don't know about you, but I know with me, I've practiced drawing wavy lines on things. If I do it on my bag here,
Christina, shall I show my mug off for a second?
Yes, please do.
I can't make myself spotlighted. Apparently, as the host, you're not allowed to make yourself most important.
As you talk, you come.
Exactly.
It depends on the view you've got.
Highlights you then.
So there we go.
You just have to keep talking.
I would, or everybody else needs to be quiet. Here we go. So just to show you another one, so you can, I've done much more dark green at the bottom.
Yeah.
Some people at Pottery Camp did them a bit spikier. Some people, so you can get that creative. In our future ones, there will be a bit more kind of glaze colour, a bit more variation. But for this, we've kept it really simple. But you can make it your own with your spikes and your peaks as you wish. Right, back to Christina.
Thank you. So, I'll wait till it comes back onto me. There we go. So when I draw wiggly lines, if I'm drawing a few, I don't know if you can see that actually on there, but I would draw a wiggly line, and then I'd come in and do the next one, and I automatically follow what I did before. So it ends up looking like that. And that's not really going to work on the mug that we're doing, because the more you can make your kind of peaks and troughs opposite, it will look more like hills kind of going up in the background. And actually Pip showed that really nicely on the side that had her handle. I'll get her to show you again in a minute. But the dark green went right down and the lighter green went right up in like what looked like a mountain. So basically when you're drawing your lines on, as you can see, the difference with us there's always a big difference with Pip and I when we're painting. But mine, I had waves.
Mine she prefers. She likes mine better. And the great thing about Zoom is if I just talk right over her, then all you can do is see me.
So yeah, so mine has beachy waves in mind, but Pip's is definitely mountains. So basically you're going to go around, including your handle, and just sketch your wiggly lines on. Now, as you all know, biro burns away. So if you decide that you didn't like a bit, change it before we start painting, because as soon as it's covered in glaze, you're not going to see it anyway. But it's just going to give you a little bit of an idea as to where your colours are going to go. So you can start drawing your wavy lines, and I'll work on my little one as well. I might do mine like a mountain, Pip.
It won't match your last one then.
No, no. I'll send it to you for a gift. This is possibly the bit that everyone hates the most because it's really scratchy on this mug. More so than some of our other pieces. If you look at your handle like face on when you're drawing your lines, you can match then each side as to where it's then going to swoop. So You can't really see my lines on there. It's a bit naff, this lighting. I'll work on that before the next one. But I've got my line coming in like that. And so that would be then my dip line on my handle. So it matches the curve.
So I've just in the chat, I've just put our step 1, which probably for this project just seems very, very noddy. But what we'll find is then as we build up into more complicated projects and different colours, and everybody goes, how many coats did she say? What did she say there? Then hopefully we'll put it in the chat. But can chat back to us, but also do feel free to unmute yourselves and butt in too.
Did you mute everybody?
No.
Oh. Quite a few
busy
people
concentrating.
We are thinking.
I can see lots of crossed out red microphones. There's quite a few that have muted themselves. Maybe they've got good music in the background.
These brushes are very soft.
They're lovely, aren't they?
Aren't they just? They're very tactile.
So they're actually a makeup brush. They are ones that we've in specially to be able to send out with our kits. And there's a delightful photo now on Facebook of me having one like a moustache that I sent to Pip as a joke, and she uploaded it onto Facebook. So yeah. Just be careful when you admit you gave her permission to record everything. No good. They're great as well though, because they're really nice. They hold the glaze beautifully, and obviously with all of our kits that we're sending home to you guys, they're then yours to keep. So this will be yours to either do your makeup when you start venturing back out into the world, or to use for our next project. So you've got your own brushes starting as well.
Nice.
How are you all getting on? Has everyone got their lines drawn on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Christina, can I have another look at the proportions of yours?
Of course.
Because you've still got quite a lot of white.
Do,
yes,
yeah.
Which I like. Well, we'll see.
So you can always play around. As I said, when you start to paint, I've actually done it on this one as well. I don't know if you can see my lines very well. I quite like having all of that white. So
I'd like it too.
So I've gone up with higher mountains this time, but I've kept quite a lot of white at the top. So all of my colour's going to be much lower down this time. Okay. So in your little pots, you have got more than enough glaze. It never looks like it when you dish it up in little pots like this, but you've got more than enough glaze to do your project in here. But these pots are great, I find, because they're similar to the ones that we were using in the studio when we were doing things like our snowfall and things like that. So what you'll do is you'll wet your little fan brush, as we would do before. I'm watching my screen to try and make sure that you can see it all under this odd screen. So I'm sort of doing things a bit backwards. But you'll load up with water, but you probably only need to do that once, but just see how it flows off. But we're actually going to start with the bottom of our mug, and we're going to work up. So we're actually changing the balls a little bit, and we're starting with our darkest colour first. Now, when they did that on Pottery Camp, I wondered if they'd made an error. But actually, it works really nicely when you add your layers over the top. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you to see it, but there is a blending there that you can see where the lighter colour kind of comes over the top.
Yeah.
Down here. So it just kind of softens that edge a little bit if you do it that way round. Now, if you want to start light and go through to dark, by all means you can do. However, you won't get that blending. You'll have much harsher lines that are on there, and it will really separate it. So you don't get a lot of it, but it just kind of softens the horizon basically on the mountains. So we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to work our way up. And then with the fan brushes, you'll just load your water and then fully load your glaze. And then, like we would in the studio, they're a little bit deeper than our fan brushes, but you just want to make sure you've got plenty on there. And then I tend to have my hand in my mug because it means I can rotate and turn around as I go. I'd said about leaving the bottom clear. Obviously, we'll wipe the foot, but just leave enough space to write your name. If you want to come in a little bit, then you can do. And I would definitely come down. I've splattered that on there, look. I definitely come down and go over this bottom ridge, because that is visible when your mug is on the side. So make sure that bottom ridge is definitely done. And so you're just going to start with SP210, so it's speckled number 10. And let's get in here so you guys can see. I'm just going to move the fan brush around and kind of go with my curves. And this bit is where
that's what we all say. Post lockdown,
I'm going with my
with our curves.
Yeah, embrace your curves. Embrace your curves. It makes us beautiful.
And the hairs.
Yeah.
Embrace them as well.
But what you'll notice when you start painting with this, for those of you that haven't used speckled glaze, is it's full of little bits of grit. So again, if I come up here, there's like little bits in it. That's good, because that's what's going to be speckly when it's fired. So don't try and knock those little bits of grit off. It's not quite as intense as if you were doing like crystal glazes or jungle gems, but you definitely want those bits on there. So you're going to work your way around, and then you'll see, I mean, even though it's really windy, my house is boiling still today. It's drying really quick. That's already dry there. So once you've gone round, we're aiming for 3 coats. So you can go on around and at least get 2 coats on this bit, and then we can start thinking about the next stage up. I'm going to try and come over here a bit.
So whilst your glazes are drying, if you scan back, I've loaded a file into the chat. It might be the end of a wonderful friendship, but Christina does look stunning in the picture, and it just gives you an idea for what you can do when you're not painting.
Oh man, I shouldn't have brought it up.
She's cruel to you, isn't she?
She is, yes. You can see that this has not changed, Sandra.
Nothing's changed.
Lots of lumpy bits.
There really are, aren't there? It's very, very lumpy. So this speckled, the SP210, the one that we're using now, speckled number 10, has just white bits in it. So it's just a white speckle. The others have different colours. So we have some on the wall. I'm trying to remember back in the studio. The speckled version of number 13 just has darker purple bits. The speckled version of number 12, our lovely dark blue, is nice actually for nighttime sky. It's got little white speckles in, and some of them just have black. But what I like about these is this one is such a harsh colour, but it's beautiful just with its white speckles, and then the others are really colourful. So yeah, it's kind of a nice combination on this. So I've done 1 coat and it's already drying, so I'm just going to go around and get my 2nd coat on there. And with my number 10, I don't know how you guys are getting on, but I only just touched the handle on the outside. In a little while, we'll have handle dilemmas when we're starting to paint on the inside and the outside of the handle, but we just take our time with that bit. We can work on that as we go through.
Can you hear the sound of concentration?
I can, yeah, I can hear the cogs going. It's good. Everyone's
Don't like this bit getting it to the rim.
Oh, poop. I've got it on the rim.
Matter if it goes on it a bit, because remember, I wiped the foot off. So just make your, like, you know, kind of play with the bit at the bottom and see how you like it to look. I've left mine completely clear, apart from a bit on the foot that I'll be wiping off anyway before it goes in the kiln. So
if you really want it speckled on the bottom, I did mine in speckled cream. So you're,
oh, that's pretty.
So something could then show up on top of that. But I think, yeah, you can do that if you want.
It's just that number 10, as we know, even black struggles to go over the top of it. So I'm going to really struggle getting them labelled. And I think at the moment we're firing the kiln once a week. So if I only end up putting 1 in every time, it's going to take a long time to get your mugs back to you. If they don't have a pretty name on or a number.
It's really good that you're still able to fire the kiln that often.
It is, actually. We've been really fortunate. We've had quite a few people have done the take home and paint at home kits, which have been great. And those that have done it have then redone it. So I think,
oh, that's nice.
It's kind of realising that actually, although
record again, go.
So wash your brush out. I've got a little bit of tissue here, but it's better if there is water in these brushes. So, and then straight into your SP209, which is your kind of teal colour, the one in the middle. And then off you go with your next coat. Now, don't worry if it overlaps slightly. So you're going to, I'm going to try and show you guys on here. You want it to overlap ever so slightly over your darker colour.
Oh, you've disappeared.
Why did it go, Pip?
I don't know.
Where have you gone?
Does it run out of battery?
Yeah,
does
you're
it?
back. You're back.
Back. I
You're
just
back.
Perhaps it had gone to sleep. It might have gone to sleep.
possibly. There we go. So there, it's just overlapping. You can see it a little bit there. So that's what I'm going to aim for all the way around. And then those of you that have done 3 coats, go for 3 now. And those of you that have done 2, you can do what I was going to do. So either or. It's all good.
This is disconcerting because it goes against everything you've ever taught me.
What, to do all your
Exactly.
light colours
And
first?
it's always been light colours first.
I know.
And you shall never.
We like to break the rules. We've been locked away for too long to stick to rules now.
You've gotten all rebellious.
Yeah, too right. I'm going to paint my dark colours first. And nobody's allowed over here to stop me, you see.
Oh, your phone's gone again.
Oh, why is it doing this? Stop being silly. Oh, I just showed you my really messy kitchen.
Shut up, Kate.
It's potentially not as easy to use the full width of the fan brush now. So with mine, I am tipping my brush and painting on the point and moving around like that. So it's just making it a little bit easier for me to control where it's going, especially on the smaller curves that I've added to my mug. But what's lovely is these are actually really nice to paint with, and they are holding a lot of glaze, so you can do quite a lot in one brush load full.
Take 2.
So when you get to your handle, I've got my pen mark on the outside here. You're going to need to try and get your glaze on the inside too, so it just becomes a little bit more fiddly. So I tend to mark on the outside where my line's going to be, and then come round on the inside here and paint up to that line. It doesn't notice so much today, but when these are fired, if it's not painted on the inside of the handle, it really does look like you've missed a bit. So it's worth getting the glaze on the inside of the handle there as well. And then obviously when you turn, it's really weird doing it like this. You'll need to get on the inside that side as well, through your cream glaze. So just be aware of that.
Coolly.
I don't know if I can open my lid.
Da-da.
Pip, you know what you said about we could paint the bottoms with the light colour?
Yeah.
Did you mean we can then write on top of the light colour?
Yeah,
once it's dry?
Yeah, you'd be able to then put a little mark or number or.
So as long as we let it dry, we can then do it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This has got pretty bits in.
This is really lovely. So the colour actually matches in the turquoisey one. I don't know if I can get you to see it. But it's
I see. The speckledy bits are the same.
Oh yeah, it's got the
lovely.
yellowy bits in, hasn't it?
It's got like yellows and oranges in that one, and then there's kind of oranges and browns in the
Oh yeah.
Do I see some purple as well?
yes, I think
Violet
you can.
colour.
It's really dark, kind of purpley blue. It's really
Very
terrible.
nice.
But yeah, it's really, really lovely. I really like that glaze. Now, what I did do was put extra of this colour in because I painted one coat on the inside of my mug.
Oh, just one coat?
Just one coat right at the end. So I did 3 on the outside, and then because there was leftover glaze, I thought, oh, I'll do it on the inside. And actually, I quite like the way it lips over the top and goes in. And I did one coat in there, and there's loads of speckle because it was at the bottom of the pot. So you'll see that there's quite a lot of speckles in there. Now, if you didn't do that, that's fine, and it will just be glazed clear and it will be fine. You'll still be able to use it. But if you do it, do one coat, and then if there's any more glaze left, you can add another one. It's not going to do any harm at all. But you should have a little bit more of this lighter colour in your pots. Sorry, I'm out of the picture. Let me come in over here. And then I'm just overlapping a little bit of this lighter cream colour onto the turquoise that's underneath.
These brushes are good, aren't they?
They're really lovely.
Lovely.
Oops.
Is that an okay oops?
Well, sort of. You know me. Budget and Scarpa.
So because these glazes are food safe, we've never had these three colours in actually on our bird tree, but it'll be, now we've done this project, these will be colours that we will get in for these project packs. But if it was something that you were interested in using, they can go on anything. They're also really lovely for ornaments and things. So say if you were doing, just off the top of my head, like a princess dress, if you chose the ones that have the speckles in, it just adds another dimension to it. They're a really nice glaze, just to kind of add a bit more of something. I've now got to the handle again, so just make sure you're going around, so treat it as if it's got four sides. So you've got your little thin skinny sides here, and then your inside and your outside. Just make sure you're getting your glaze all on those.
Sorry, I'm still harping on about the bottom. Do I put three glazes on the bottom or one?
You can do one and it will, you'll still get your speckles, or two or three. It depends on how much glaze you've got. So make sure you get it all on your top edge first, and then do your base and swoosh it around on there. But you should have more than enough in these pots. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ending up with quite a bit left over in my other colours too. So
yeah,
there is more than enough glaze to go for.
ready
so if
for
I just do
project
one
another
for
day.
now, I can go back if I need to.
Yes, yeah.
If I've got the stuff. Okay.
So as I've gone round, my hand is still in the mug, so I don't know how you guys are doing this, whether you're on the table or not, but it means that I haven't done this top edge, this ridge that's here. So I know in my head that I'm going to do my 3 coats on the outside, and then I'll make sure that this top edge gets 3 coats, and then I'm going to work inside. So just bear in mind that you have got that top edge there. Now, because these are going to be dipped, it's not such a problem, but it's really good practice just to remember to get your 3 coats on all areas, because there are some projects that we do where we don't add a clear dipping glaze over the top. So it means that any bits that you haven't touched with the brush won't then be covered. It then it stops it being food safe. So just be aware of that. But just for ease of holding, I'm ignoring that top edge at the moment because my hand is then back inside the mug, so I can turn it around as I'm painting. And then you'll see as well on mine that we're still really, really shiny. So I'm just going to wait for that shine to go off before I then add my next layers of this one. So I shall sit here and wait for paint to dry and watch you all enjoy painting.
Tell you what, ladies, I've really missed this.
Doing its thing on the outside edge, all shiny. So I put it down and I'm just going to paint the inside. I'm just going to do a coat in there because I have quite a bit of glaze left in my pot. So it's really nice to paint inside and around a circle with these brushes because you can just put them down and swoosh it around. It's actually quite lovely. But just be aware that you don't get too carried away and ended up adding kind of 5 or 6 layers of glaze down there. But just coming up the side, just making sure your paintbrush is fully loaded, just start on that bottom edge and just draw it all the way up, and you'll find that you leave really nice, a really nice thickness of glaze that will cover beautifully, but also plenty of those little speckly gems. So that works really well. And then I'm just doing 1 stroke per area. I'm not kind of going over and over and over it, because then you'll end up removing more glaze than you're putting in. So yeah, just nice simple brush strokes. And I am just going to do 1 layer on the inside. It seemed to cover really nicely when I did it before. And then when that's dry, I'm then going to work on this top ridge that at the moment I can really see now doesn't have any glaze on it at all. Because these brushes are nice and flat too. Let me move that because we're seeing the stand. It works well just to kind of tap that layer on as you're working around the top. So get your glaze on there, because if you draw across it, you're going to end up with drips running down the inside, because you'll empty your paintbrush on that ridge. So I'm just kind of tapping across the top there, just to make sure that that top layer has got little speckles on and plenty of glaze without it dripping down each side.
Uh-oh, the others are singing.
What others?
My husband and my daughter.
Oh, are they? All I can hear in the room behind me is shh, shh, mummy's working.
Oh, bless them.
Aww.
I've got Scout AGM in the background.
Oh, multi-purpose household yours today.
It is.